This is a big welcome to the blog. It is Saturday afternoon. I have just dropped Bunny off at a birthday party for one of her friends. It is sushi themed. Ooh, that was bright. And it is a sleepover. So we get her back tomorrow morning. And good luck to the other little girl's mom. I think there's supposed to be some sort of murder mystery plan going on there too. So that should be fun. Badger has declared it to be Badger and Daddy night. So she has a long list of top secret Daddy and Badger eyes only plans for the evening, most of it being board games. She also would like him to pitch a tent and sleep in the tent. He's resisting the last part of that plan, but the board games are definitely going to happen. It does mean that she has not allowed him to go to the grocery store. They have played Bunny Kingdom and Blackjack and I think Sequence already this morning. And in no uncertain terms was he was not allowed to leave during any part of Daddy and Badger Day. Oh, you're slipping again. So there's that, and he'll have to go do the grocery shopping tomorrow. He did say something about we might have to have grilled cheese for dinner, and that she wasn't going to like that part, but you know. I have started working on the knitting today after a very tragic needle issue yesterday. The Knitpicks cable came undone the cable came undone from the connector bit as I was knitting right in the middle of the tank top. So that was not good. I managed to get everything back in order and I've switched to a different cable. I am not pleased. This is not the first one of those cables that has failed on me. So I think it may be that the last one I purchased is the last one I'm purchasing. Train Tracks is the last one I'm purchasing. I really like the needles, so that's unfortunate. And it has been too long for me to really complain and try to send them back or anything like that. I just find it unfortunate that the quality control on the needles, on the cable, is just not what I would hope for. So, but I've been wanting an excuse to try other needle brands. So I guess this is my excuse. Beyond that, I also took some measurements. The tank top is definitely going to fit, and I have 8 inches done now, so that's good. And I think I'm still on track with how many balls I have left versus how many inches I need left. So fingers crossed. Because I hate to have to do the top in a totally different thing because there's just no chance I'd ever get it to match. I bought this fiber in 2012. So even if I could find more, there'd have to be magic. So that's unlikely. So my plans for the rest of the day are to not get in the way of Daddy and Badger Day and get some knitting done. My ankle is really bothering me today, but I still would like to hopefully spend a little time down in the studio. Just depends. I've got to decide that I can get down and spend some time working and get back up and have it not cost me all of tomorrow before I can commit to doing it. But that is really where my head is right now, is get into the studio, spend an hour at least cleaning for today, get what I can. That I should be able to make it walkable in an hour. My son is a wonderful, wonderful little man and a wonderful helper, and he really did try very hard to help me and really succeeded in lots of ways. But his habit of walking into a room and immediately setting whatever it is he's holding on the floor in front of him is not good. really sorry about the lighting in this video, but I can't change the sun. And there's just so much going on with the kids home during the day that, you know, if I'm going to get any video footage done that's not after dark, after bedtime, I kind of have to have it be in the car. So, the kids also have Monday and Tuesday off. I am thinking about seeing if I can't snag one of them to help me put together a tutorial this week. And that would be with them behind the camera. Bunny is actually quite skilled at videography, and all of them are very, very good at still shots. So we'll see where we go. Maybe all three of them will end up helping me, and I'll just mark down who did which section of the thing that I'm thinking of. It'll be a triangle tutorial, and so scarf making on a triangle loom. So there's that to look forward to. I think I'm going to sign off and finish my drive, and I will see you in a little while. Bye.
So when I say something's terrifying, I really, really, really mean it. I have gotten into my studio for the first time since September. I've been down here once before then, but this is with the intention. This is a panel on the same level. And when I get over here, I'm sitting in a chair. I get over here, there's the door frame again. Now we're going to go down and pan back. Yeah. I did move these items off of the chair that I'm sitting on so the door wasn't completely blocked. Just nearly. So I believed that my tripod was in this room, and I was going to set this camera up somewhere and just leave it running while I did this. So I think I'm going to take a minute and see if I can't find it, and then do that. I don't know. I'm kind of discouraged right now. Hi again. So other than chucking some stuff out of the way so that I could set up the tripod, which I did find, I haven't done anything in the room yet. So here's where you are, or where you will be, standing right there on the tripod. And this is just kind of another look at the mess. So let's make some progress. Okay, I'm calling it for today. I haven't really done much in this corner other than kind of kick it in. But there's Sophie the Barbarian Wheel, and there's my wonderful ladybug, who I should probably name. Over here we have ironing and cutting and knickknacks. And a field of broken dreams, really, because these are all the things that need me to glue them. And the serging station and the sewing station, and I sometimes will set a ironing board up right here if I'm using it. Kind of using my loom as a holding things rack. That is my museum dress. And then I managed to get all of this tucked away, and it is kind of organized. Okay, so when I was over here, I was really working on organizing it and making it the way I wanted. And then by the time I got to about here, I was rapidly running out of steam. So it was kind of tuck it away, make it neat, make the space usable. And then as I got over here, I think I actually put my head down on the desk for a couple minutes in frustration, and then I managed to move some big stuff and get it out of the way. So this is where we're at, and this is where we're staying. So I have a studio. It is functional. But it's not really where I want it to be yet. I'm back upstairs, obviously, and it is 5 o'clock. I think that took about 3 hours. I think I'm completely exhausted and still out of breath. I did find some important things. One of them was the floor in that room. This little notebook, which actually has a recipe for donuts on the front of it, but it also has some notes on a design I was working on before I got sick, and no one could find this notebook. Not really sure. I found the skein of yarn from my drop spindle work that I've been working on, and so I can join that and finish it later. And I found my mending that was given to me right before I got injured and everyone forgot about. This is Bunny's pink sweater. It is cashmere. It's Bunny's pink cashmere sweater that we found at a thrift store. And she's worn it and worn it and worn it and worn it, and it finally has just a tiny little hole that I have to darn. And I made this hat for Badger. It was a Halloween costume. And it's huge, but it covers her entire head, and it kept her warm. Warm Halloween costumes, for those of you who live in places that are warmer than Wisconsin, are really, really important. I lined my fake fur here with elephants. So your costume either has to be warm in and of itself, or it has to go over the top of your coat, or your children will freeze going door to door for trick-or-treat candy. But she got to playing and it ripped out, so I have to fix that. It was really amusing. Without much conferring that year, my sister-in-law made one of her daughters a cat, and the other one was another animal, and mine were a bunny and a cat. Tiger, maybe? That niece really likes tigers, so I'm thinking it's tiger, but I'm not sure if that's true. I also got a little bit, an end of some Lillian Cream cotton. For Christmas, we got kitchen stuff for Giraffe, and her birthday is a couple of days after Christmas, but they're going to do the party next weekend. And I said, well, does she need more kitchen stuff? And her mom said, no, please, no. And then she said, well, you know, maybe some dishcloths for her little kitchen. So I'm going to do up some dishcloths, and I'm also thinking about maybe a couple of little pot holders, because she apparently got kitchen stuff from several family members as well. And it's so cute. My friend has it set up in her kitchen. So when the mommy is cooking, the daughter can be cooking too, and it is just super sweet. And she apparently really, really loves it. So, a couple of little dishcloths. I don't know how big they should be. Maybe, oh, maybe like this. It's tiny hands. Anyway, that's the plan.
Welcome back into my car. I am annoyed with this hands-free device. It is tippy. Hi everybody. I took a video a little while ago, but between the rattly rattle of the roll of the roads and the fact that the device holding thingy, the hands-free device that I was using to hold the camera, being clipped into my car's air vent, it kept going, and then I reach over and grab it. And then you would be pointed at the ceiling. So I decided to retake the video because that wasn't very good. Today was the Weaving Guild meeting, and the guild has been a thing for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, membership is very, very, very down. There were 3 of us today, and that made for a very short meeting, except for the part where the lady who's trying to hold everything together and run the meeting wanted to teach me how to do card weaving, because that was last month. Well, that was November's program. We don't meet in December. That month in between November and January, we don't meet in December. Just too much to do. So she wanted to show me what I missed, and I had wanted to learn it. I was interested. So she and I stuck around and worked on that pretty much until I was too tired to continue. And it's kind of neat, and I will show you what I did in another little segment of this vlog. And I might actually take it with me tonight. I am sitting right now out in front of Mouse's school, waiting for him to come out. And I'm actually a bit early so that I could tape this without having to worry about other things, and then being so late that I'd be, I don't know, 2 blocks that way in the parking. Oh, but it was a good day. I'm a little nervous that the guild is just going to go away. There is another group that meets, but it meets on Saturdays, and it is connected with the Handweavers of America, so it is something that I'm gonna be joining anyway. Saturdays are harder to get away, they're family time, and so I was hoping that this group would not fold when the lady who had been running it for years and years had to step down due to family health reasons. It was I think we were all kind of expecting this, but it's sad to be right. So there's that. Let me see if I can find a position where you're not looking at glare. That's a little better. So I am doing a 10 card weave with 4 colors, and it is a 4 forward, 4 backward, which means that I'm rotating the cards forward 4 times and then backward 4 times. And the cards are threaded with different colors and tied to me and tied to something else. Earlier today it was the leg of a loom, just because that was what was handy. I don't really like having it tied to me. She said I could do it with C-clamps or just tying it to other things. I could wear a belt and tie it to the belt. I think that would be preferable to tying a string around my waist. I didn't really like that part. Also, it means that I'm working with my arms like way out, and it wasn't comfortable. So we're going to work on that. But I have about, I want to say this much done, and I do like how it's turning out. If I have enough, there may be some suspenders in Mouse's future. I think it would be cool. I don't know that he thinks it would be cool, but I think it would be cool. I could sell it to him. Maybe. He doesn't like wearing a belt. I don't like having his pants hanging down. So suspenders seem like a good option. I'm told they're more comfortable. We'll see. Um, so tonight, a group of us, and I don't know how many of us it is going to get together. We used to once a month get together for knitting or crafting. We called it knitting, but it didn't matter what craft you brought. To include chainmail making and sewing and whatever. And we did get together every month. Sometimes it started out at one girl's house, and then for a while it was at a different person's house. And then we called it Crafting with Yoda because that person's roommate had a life-size statue of Yoda in the room we were using. And so we would take pictures with our scarves and hats and whatnot draped on Yoda. Um, and then for a while we were meeting at a cafe. And then for a while we didn't get together, and we kept, every time we'd see each other, we'd go, oh, we should get back to the knitting group. We should get everybody back together. And that would be the end of that. And I don't think it was, like there was no reason we dissolved. I think everybody just got busy at the exact same time. And the girl who was really kind of pushing us forward and keeping us together got married and had babies. And that absorbed a lot of her time. But the babies are a little bit older now. And so maybe we can get it going again. And I got to a chat thing going amongst all of us and set at the beginning of the month and said, hey, let's do more than just say we're going to get it back together. Let's pick a time. And so our time is tonight, and we're going to meet at the Panera down the street, and we are going to craft or perhaps work on our dissertation. There's some joking, but from two members who are very heavily in the focus of finishing their educations right now, that they don't remember what crafting's like other than writing papers. So hopefully they'll bring a craft. If not, writing papers is a craft. I'm open-minded. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to bring my knitting, my sock knitting, which is being naughty because I wasn't paying enough attention. So last night, I mentioned before that the right and left sock are not identical. They're mirrors. Actually, their mirror's going this way. And I did this one just fine. And then I did this one's stitches on this one. So it had been going like that. And then all of a sudden it went like that. Just for one repeat. So I took this one. I took the right one off of the needles onto stitch holders. And I tinked back for the repeats. Put them back on the right way. Put this other sock back on. And then realized I went one row too far. Not even just too far for the pattern, but one row, it wasn't the right row even. So I had to take these back off, and then I had to put those back on, and yeah. So I have made negative progress. And I haven't really had time to sit down and do the laddering back that I want to do on the tank top. Which means I get to cast on something new, right? Which may mean I cast on something new tonight. It may not. It just depends. I want to get the house straightened up a bit. We don't have Christmas down yet. We don't even have most of the packages put away. And I'm using the word packages, not gifts, because I do also mean the packaging. I think my husband really wants to clean out his office and rearrange everything like he had talked about in December. He hasn't gotten that far yet. He has pulled a bunch of boxes out. So I think he wants to save the boxes so that he can use them. So they're just kind of in the white room right now, which doesn't help it look messy and cluttered. I mean, it really does look messy and cluttered, and it looks worse than it actually is. But we're the ones who have to live there. And the whole being judged by the state of my house is something that I and almost every other female I've ever met has completely internalized as it doesn't matter what we're doing and what's going on in our lives. it is a reflection of us, even if in our marriage it's actually our husband's job. In the allocation of who does what, it can be not your thing, and it still feels like something that is a reflection of you. And um, that doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, when we get down to it, our house is a reflection of us, but it is, but that us word somehow gets lost when we're talking about us, like the female part of the partnership. And my husband thinks that this is entirely a girl thing, that he doesn't know any guys who judge women this way. And apparently they've talked about it. I have not actually had this conversation with a male, but I've talked to lots of women who felt like it was their responsibility to make certain that the house was cleaned. And if it wasn't, then they felt like other people, perhaps other women, were judging them no matter what else was going on in their lives, no matter what else they were doing. And I know that I feel that way. I know that growing up, I always said that the most important people who are ever going to come to my house are the ones who live there. And I won't save the good dishes for when company comes. And I won't just, quickly clean when somebody's coming in the house. This was a big thing for my grandmother. The good dishes were for company, and that the house had to be spotless for someone to come in. And I wasn't going to behave like that. We got into really long arguments about it. Turns out, we eat off white china. I have lovely china. We eat off white plates. And when I say I'd like to clean up the house, my kids ask who's coming over. So, despite the fact that that is not what I believe in, it is what I do. So, there is another task for me to figure out what it is I actually believe. Do I believe these things that I am saying about how I want our lives to work? The kids are starting to come out, so I'm scanning to make sure that my son isn't ignoring me. Do I believe these things about how I say that things are going to work? Or was that just a nice idea? And the reality is, jam it all in a closet quick, somebody's coming. Because I really do think that the most important people who ever walk through my front door are my husband and my kids. I really believe that. They are the most important people. Well, then they are the ones that I should be picking up the house for. They are the ones that should be helping me pick up the house for them and for me, because I should be on that list. And right now, that isn't really a thing. I'm working on my mobility. I'm getting back into my routines. I'm getting back into stuff, but I'm not caught up by any means, and I wasn't really caught up even when I got injured. I wasn't really caught up from the summer yet, when everybody is home more. And I had kind of started some bigger projects, and they got left out in the way. Bigger cleaning projects, but still. And I just want to fix that. So that's what the cleaning that I've been doing is really much more of decluttering. It is removing things from our life that's in the way. So this week I have taken, in fact today, I took 3 boxes of books, almost all of them quilting books, but not exclusively, to the thrift store in town. And I also took 3 bags of clothing to the thrift store at the same time. And I took 3 bags of garbage out of my bedroom and 1 out of my craft room. And there's more. There's more. I have 1 shelf done in our bedroom in the built-in that I was talking about. I did organize 2 shelves on the bookshelf in my bedroom and 2 shelves on the bookshelf in my studio. And that's really where this all came from. It wasn't like I did, and I emptied the garbage in our bathroom. That's where the rest of the garbage came from. But everything else was on a shelf, waiting for me to get back to it someday, eventually. And maybe it was really, really important when it got put there. It's not anymore. So I want to work harder at that so that I can not have to worry about cleaning spontaneously, so that I have more time to do crafts and to feel like I can spend more time playing games with the kids and just relaxing. And I want to teach them to crochet and to knit and to embroider, and they've asked about these things. Um, but I need to clear some space, mental space and physical space, so that we can get that done. So tonight, crisis cleaning, and then back to our regular program of let's get this clean in a real sense. Let's get this. Let's remove everything here that isn't bringing us joy, that isn't useful to us. Um, and I don't mean it in a kind of a, well, if I need it later, I can always buy it again millennial sense. I mean it in a real sense. Am I going to use this again? No. Well, then I don't need it. Am I going to use this again? Maybe. Well, then I'll keep it. I'll talk to you later.
Hi, it is 9 o'clock at night. It's Saturday night, so that means this is going out later than I intended. But we had a very busy day today. It was Giraffe's birthday party, and we went down there. Jim wasn't feeling good, so he stayed home. And she opened all the presents, and we had yummy cupcakes. And it was nice to sit around and talk and tell stories and just enjoy life. You know, isn't that really what it's about? I didn't even bring up my knitting. I just sat there and talked to people and just had a really pleasant day. And then on the way home, we decided to stop. They live in the town that's a town that's near my parents. It was kind of on the way. I made it be on the way. It's usually the route I take anyway, but I had options, and I decided to stop by with the kids and see my parents. And we didn't call them first or anything. We just arrived and yelled surprise as we walked in the door, and they were surprised. Although my mother said that she heard the kids on the porch waiting for me to get up the stairs with the key, saying shh, shh, shh. And so she suspected that something was up. And so we stayed there for a little while, a couple of hours. The kids got to hang out with Grandma and Grandpa and learned about steel drum bands from my dad and played some games, and I helped my mom on her socks again. So now that she's through the heel, she just has the gusset decreases to do, and then she's got the foot. So I'm hoping that she will work on them again, because so far she keeps stopping and then going, can you look at my socks? I don't remember what I'm supposed to do next. And I'll do a little bit, and then she puts them away, and then the next time I see her, she's like, can you look at my socks? I don't remember what I'm supposed to do next. So she ended up getting me to do both of her heels. I think I got Tom Sawyered. She ended up getting me to do both of her heels that way. So it's her turn. She can knit the body of the foot of her socks. So they are her first ever socks, so it's not really surprising. And then she looked at me and she's like, are the toes complicated? And I said, oh no, toes are really easy. No problem, Mom. So, which of course they are. But, I wasn't about to tell her that she might want to concentrate, because then, I get to do the toes too. And the cat is doing this. Hi, Razor Cat. Yeah. So, there is that. I had a really lovely night last night. Several of the ladies couldn't make it. In fact, almost no one came. My sister-in-law was able to come, so the kids got to play with their cousin. And we went to the cafe for a while, but it seemed kind of silly for us to sit in a cafe while my husband sat at home and watched all the kids. So we came back and sat at the kitchen table, and she worked on a project she's been putting off for forever, and I worked on my knitting, fixing it, getting it back to where it was supposed to be. and made a little bit of progress, yes. But mostly we just sat and talked, and Jim came out and sat and talked with us, and it was nice. So she stayed a while, I don't know, a couple of hours, and then everyone went home, and it was again quiet in the house like it is now. So it's been a very crafty weekend so far. Mostly I intend to do dishes and work on weaving tomorrow, and knitting. Weaving and knitting and dishes. It's not a terrible plan for a day, right? My foot is very swollen tonight. It was pretty swollen last night too. So I think maybe I've been pushing it a little bit too far on how long I can stay up and moving about and how long I can keep myself in the boot. So we're going to back off a little bit and see if that helps. I've basically had it up since about 6, other than going and having dinner. But I didn't stay for very long at dinner. I just ate and left the table. So it's not really going down yet, but hopefully it will by the time I'm done editing this video. My mother also gave me some oil to rub onto my scar. It's actually the first time my parents have seen my foot in person since the surgery. And so they both wanted to take a peek. They're both retired medical, and they seemed pleased with it, so that's good. Yes. But she gave me some oil that in theory will help ease the pain of the scar. And it might help the scar. It helps a lot of people, but I tend to scar very badly, so I'm not expecting that. But it hurts if anything brushes against it. It's very sensitive to touch, and so like the quilt on my bed is too scratchy, and it's 100% cotton cloth. It's not scratchy in any way. The fleece blanket I have over my foot right now is soft enough that it's okay. The couch is not really soft enough, so no pillows I have are soft enough. So I'm hoping that if by rubbing this oil in a couple of times a day, I can ease that a little bit. That would be a good result. I've made a little bit more progress in the book. His section on wheel repair was actually much more informative. I don't think that I'm going to be changing any whorls out for linen bakelite, but I can see where he's coming from. It makes a lot of sense. Good sturdy material. I'd probably use some form of plastic now. But it certainly offers some more insight into how wheels were repaired in the 1970s, and that's of value at least. So it isn't quite so terrible this week, but I am still not done with it. I am about halfway done. I am hoping that before the end of the weekend I will have completed that. We'll see. I'm kind of bribing myself / forcing myself through it. I think I'm going to read a contemporary book next. So that's where the reading for the COE is. Yes. And I have spun twice. And I will not spin again for a couple of days. I'm going to back off. But I am spinning a Lincoln. It is something that I dyed and prepared myself. It's a light blue color, like a sky blue, fairly evenly. And right now I'm aiming for a 40 wraps per inch on the single. And right now it is somewhere between a 40 and a 28. It's just kind of, no, a 40 and a 38. So 40 and a 30. I'll check my notes, but I think it's a 40 and a 36. I'm just not quite as consistent right now as I had been before my injury, which is reasonable. I went for about 20 minutes the first day, and after about 15 minutes, my ankle was like, I don't know what you're doing, but I am not sure that I like it. So I wasn't really tempted to go any longer, although I was super excited to have done it. And then the second day I did, again, not quite 20 minutes, and made pretty good progress. I managed to get 4 of the little roving nests that I made done in that time. So, yeah. And then there's the cat, who has done no spinning and no knitting. No. He hasn't even learned to weave, but he purrs. So, yes. So I think that's been my week, and I will chat with you again some other time. Good night.